Well, I want to talk about baby boomers today and their epidemics that are steaming their way. I mean, these epidemics are coming after them, and I'm not talking about bird flu and swine flu. I'm talking about things like Alzheimer's disease. And just an article came out, and, of course, the experts in Alzheimer's disease saying there is no prevention. Well, that's an absolute lie. It's one of those things, there's no prevention, no cure, no cause, absolute lies. And so this is a very simple physician-caused disease. Alzheimer's disease is caused by the practices of doctors, right? And this actually came out in the first original audio cassette tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, in April of 1993. And there's a wonderful article, February 2010, cover article on the U.S. News World Report. It says 7 habits that you can acquire that will help you reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease. Now, if Alzheimer's disease was genetic, you certainly would not be able to just sleep 2 more hours a night, eat 2 more bananas a week, run around the block 10 times, and do those things you've never done before and reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease if it was genetic. Okay, so we know just from 4th grade biology that if on the cover article in the U.S. News World Report, they can say that you can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease simply by acquiring these 7 habits. Guess what? It's not genetic. I said that in 1993 in this audio cassette tape because in 1992, UCSD, University of California, San Diego, and the Salk Institute, famous for the Salk polio vaccine, said that just by taking vitamin E, you could actually help people who had chronic Alzheimer's disease. You could actually make them better just with vitamin E. And so I said in my audio cassette tape, got in a lot of trouble because I said Alzheimer's disease cannot be genetic if you can make it better with vitamin E. Okay, there's no genetic disease that will get better if you give somebody a vitamin. All right, so we know those things way back when. Well, here it comes. Just this big article says, you can't. They're looking for the number of Alzheimer's patients to triple because the 80 million baby boomers are coming along, and they're hoping they could hold it down to 18.3 million at any one time that has Alzheimer's disease. Well, that's absolutely insane. I'm only happy with 0. Why would I accept 18.3 million when I know how to prevent it? I can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 80%. Now, why am I so bold? Because it was a double-blind study by a big, very well-known university. This came out in 2004. It was a front-page article in every newspaper in the land, and everybody's disregarding it. But I've employed all the stuff that they've talked about, and guess what? In some cases, people have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and they're going downhill in terrible straits after 8 years of being treated like Alzheimer's disease with pharmaceuticals, and they're terminal by the time I get them 8 years later. In 1 week's time, they're totally symptom-free. They're totally symptom-free. Now, I don't believe they had Alzheimer's disease. I believe they had Korsakoff syndrome, which is a deficiency of a single vitamin. But it does look like Alzheimer's disease, and to the naive and the ignorant doctor, they want to diagnose everything as Alzheimer's disease when you have a dementia because that pays more. In the insurance codes, it pays more than vascular dementia, Korsakoff syndrome, and Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. And so they always choose to call it Alzheimer's disease because they get paid more. Now, they're gaming the system. Now, vascular dementia is caused by plugging of the arteries in your brain, just like you get plugging your arteries in your heart. It's the same cause. Inflammation of the arteries in your brain from eating fried foods, processed meats with nitrates and nitrites and oils. And if you're gluten intolerant, you have to give up gluten also. Then there's Korsakoff syndrome, which is a deficiency of a single vitamin. It was discovered by a Japanese naval surgeon back in the 1700s. And Wernicke-Korsakoff is Korsakoff syndrome, this same vitamin deficiency, but it also has MS, multiple sclerosis, mixed with it. And so you have to give our de-stress capsules and also our selenium to support and promote maintenance repair there. And then if it is Alzheimer's disease, I like to throw in the Smart FX because it has the DHAs and EPAs. And then for, say, a 150-pound to 175-pound person, man or woman, I like them to eat 8 to 12 eggs a day. And people freak out when I say 8 to 12 eggs a day because you have to repair the mile in the brain, which is what goes away when you have Alzheimer's disease. And the same formula will work for Alzheimer's disease. It works for, of course, it's slower in Alzheimer's disease, but in Wernicke-Korsakoff's Korsakoff syndrome, vascular dementia, it works very nicely. And then also for Parkinson's disease, MS, and Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. These are all very similar diseases. They all affect the same tissues in the brain, just more in some areas than others, and so that's why you have distinctive symptoms, because parts of the brain are affected, and by random chance, when you get the other diseases, the same type of free radical damage occurs. So you have to stop the ongoing free radical damage. You have to repair the damage. You have to get rid of the lesions. And so everything we do is to accomplish that. And, of course, we have very, very wonderful results by supporting and promoting maintenance repair of the brain. Drugs to relieve a symptom do not support and promote maintenance repair of the brain. Drugs to get rid of a symptom and just sort of tranquilize people doesn't solve the problem. You have to support and promote maintenance repair. Well, contact your young TV associate. If you're a baby boomer, get a hold of that book, God Bless America. Get a hold of the book, Immortality, and learn how to take care of yourself. Doctors just want to get you into their nursing home. They just want to get you in their nursing home. I just want to cry because it's a double standard. We'll be back after these messages.